I remember a season in my life where I thought everything I had built was gone. My peace, my confidence, my ability to trust. I looked at the aftermath and thought, nothing good can come from this. Welcome back to the Whole, Healed, and Happy podcast. I'm your host, Brittany Davis, and it means so much that you're still here, still leaning in, still choosing healing. That takes courage and that takes faith. And since you're willing to do the work and dive deeper into healing, be sure to sign up for our digital magazine and get your 5 Days of Freedom challenge absolutely free. Today's episode is especially close to my heart because it speaks to one of God's most tender promises. The idea that no matter how fractured or burned down your life has felt, God can bring something beautiful out of it. This episode is Beauty from Ashes. Let's begin with today's verse. Isaiah 61, 1 through 3. The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives, and release from darkness for the prisoners, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all who mourn and provide for those who grieve in Zion, to bestow on them a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. They will be called oaks of righteousness, a planting of the Lord for the display of his splendor. For many years, I lived in a pile of ashes, focused only on what should have been. And if you've ever stood in the ruins of your own life, relationships crumbled, faith shaken, dreams dissolved, you know the feeling of ashes. Ashes are the remnants of what used to be, of what could have been. They're the evidence of fire, of pain, of loss. I felt defeated and deceived. And in that place, it can feel impossible to imagine anything beautiful ever growing again. But Isaiah 61 isn't just poetry, it's a promise. God specializes in redemption, and not just the clean up the mess kind of redemption, but the create something new out of it kind. The beauty he brings isn't just restoration, it's also transformation. What you thought was the end can become the very soil he uses to grow purpose. I remember a season in my life where I thought everything I had built was gone. My peace, my confidence, my ability to trust. I looked at the aftermath and thought, nothing good can come from this. But slowly, gently, God began to speak. He didn't shame me. He didn't rush me. He simply began to breathe life over the ashes. And I want to say to you today, nothing is wasted in the hands of God. Not the loss, not the failure, not the parts of your story you're still too afraid to share. God doesn't ask you to pretend the fire never happened. He asks you to hand him the ashes and trust that he's still an artist. When you look at your life and only see brokenness, know this. He sees potential. He sees beauty. He sees a future. And here's what's incredible. The very place of your pain can become the platform for your purpose. The testimony you're living through today may be the exact encouragement someone else needs tomorrow. Here's something meaningful you can do today. Take a moment to think of one part of your life that feels like ashes, something that feels destroyed, hopeless, or unusable. Write it down. Then pray, God, I don't know how you'll bring beauty from this, but I choose to believe you can. I offer you the ashes. Watch what can begin to grow. Questions for reflection. What area of your life feels too broken to ever be beautiful again? Can you recall a time when God turned something painful into something powerful? What would trusting Him with the ashes look like in this season? I don't know your whole story, but I believe this with everything in me. God still brings beauty from ashes, not just for people in the Bible, not just for me, not just for other people, for you. Your fractured pieces are not the end of your story. In fact, it might just be the beginning of your becoming whole. Thank you so much for sharing this sacred space with me today. I hope you'll subscribe to the podcast and leave a review because in our next episode, we'll talk about one of the most powerful gifts God offers in the healing journey, and that's joy. Real, soul deep, hard won joy. Until then, may you have the courage to hand over the ashes and the faith to expect beauty. If today's episode stirred something in you, I just want to say you are not alone. Your story matters, and the fact that you're even here listening tells me you're already on the path toward healing. If you found this helpful, feel free to share this episode with your group chat because they may need it too. And sign up for our digital community and get the 5 Days of Freedom Challenge in your inbox completely free. Until then, may you walk in truth, live in grace, and move one step closer to wholeness. I'm Brittany Davis, and I'll see you next time.